Yeah, I'm back again and again and again and again. I keep coming back. Why? Some days I wonder, am I really getting anything out of this right now? I don't know. I finished up with night number one of work. Same old bullshit. My counterpart called off sick again. Called off sick Monday, called off sick Tuesday. We had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. She called in sick last night. According to the management, she had a cold, so she decided to call off sick. Motherfucker, if you knew half the shit I was going through, where I still come into work, head would probably explode. Anyway, I'm exhausted. I'm beat. I'm just. I know my voice absolutely sucks right now. I could hear it all night long. It just was not working the way I wanted it to, which sucks. I mean, it sucks hardcore because I've been trying to get this voice of mine to work the way I need it to, and it's just not cooperating. Honestly, there are a lot of times when I wish, I sincerely wish that I could just be mute. Unfortunately, I can't do that because, well, my jobs always require that I speak, that I talk, that I communicate verbally with the people around me. I hate it. I hate the sound of my own voice. I hate that people have to hear it. I hate that it gives me away over the phone. I hate that it gives me away in person. I don't want to hear it anymore. I had a few episodes last summer, last year, where I would just spontaneously lose the ability to talk. I mean, not completely, but it was one of those things where if I did speak, I knew that it would be forcing a lot of stress on my vocal cords. It would damage them in short order. But that did have a few positives. For one, I didn't have to worry about my own voice anymore. My voice being heard. And for two, it actually gave me the inspiration, to develop another uh, minor, uh, minor semi-important character to my book series. So it has its perks. But yeah, I was able to appreciate it when I couldn't talk. I did have some reservations as far as what would happen in my job if I was unable to speak, if I needed to go out and about and do stuff, interact with people face to face. But I still viewed it as a net gain. You know, Even when I thought about it as a permanent thing. So who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll suffer comes out of a vocal cord injury and finally be able to speak altogether. And with the life that I've had, with regards to my speaking, my vocabulary, verbal uh, conveyance of thoughts and such. Maybe I could use a break. I mean, it was just something I was thinking about this past 12 hours or so. When I was at work, I was just thinking, I've always had issues with my voice, and the way I talk, the way people hear me or don't hear me, whatever the case may be. And yeah, it's been one of those things where it's left a lasting impact on me. It's made me very timid about speaking, and it's made me very. It just leaves me not wanting to talk to people unless I'm quite familiar with them. I guess it's part of the appeal, or not appeal, but you know, part of my agenda with doing these vlogs is to try to become more comfortable with speaking. I mean, to be honest, um, I just I looked back, I thought back, over the years, and even dating back to my early childhood, I'd be mocked, I'd be teased relentlessly for the way that I spoke. Some of it had to do with my peers when I was in elementary and high school, and I would use a word that was over, that was above their grade level. I would use words that they didn't understand. They're just too advanced for them, and you get mocked for that. People would mock my pronunciations. If I chose the wrong word, just one time, I get mocked for that. It would not matter, and it didn't help that I had both a stutter and a lisp, which I still have the lisp because dental issues. I mean, it's impossible to see with the camera, being low quality as it is. But see, when I was about what was I, 8 years old, I think it was. They did an X-ray on my teeth, and they found that I had an extra tooth that was blocking the space between here and here, between the right front tooth and the one next to it to the right. And it was just perfectly situated in the center there. So they had to extract all three of those teeth to finally, to dislodge things and allow the adult teeth to come down. Well, the one on the right came in fine. Mostly anyway, it's a little bit off, but the one, this guy right here, that one came in at an angle. And unfortunately, that angle makes it so that if I try resting my tongue against the back of my front teeth, if I do it centered, then it's just going to wind up with a TH sound. Like if you're talking about trying to do things with an S sound, and your tongue might slip over so that that space, in dead center. Try to pronounce the S, and winds up as a sound because, well, there's that air gap, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I got made fun of plenty for that. And yeah, hell, even my home life wasn't all that great as far as being able to escape the mocking and the ridicule. I mean, this is a thing where how old was I? I was probably preteen. Yeah, they sent home these notices with us about the MMR vaccine, you know, measles, mumps, and rubella. Well, I had never seen the word rubella before, so I mistakenly pronounced it with a soft U. You know, I said rubella, and of course, my mom, being the person that she is, decided that I said rebellion vaccine. And for the next few years, it was that was the thing that she'd bring up for pretty consistently. You know, make fun of me for that, mock me, ridicule me for my one mispronunciation because I had never seen a word before, and I got the same treatment with the word bagel. You know, she had some kind of a weird pronunciation for that one, like bagel or something like that. It's like, okay, so you know what it is, but you're gonna mock me because the way I emphasize the A is a little bit different. This coming from a woman who pronounces the words wash, washcloth, Washington with an R. No, the word is washcloth, not washcloth, not Washington, D.C., not Washington State, but that's how she would say it. But somehow that's okay, but me saying bagel is wrong. Yeah, I don't know. People would say that, your parents loved you, you give them a break, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe they did love me, whatever, but they could be cruel. Thankfully, I blocked out most of the memories of dad, so I don't really know, you know what mockery and ridicule he dumped on me. Of course, he was hardly around in my through a lot of it anyway, because well, yeah, he worked full-time hours, but he was at home in the evenings when I was really young. But then we got that motel in the middle of nowhere, and he devoted all of his time to that thing for a couple of years. Then he got bored of it, shut it down, went and found himself a job working a few hours away, and then he was gone for most of the week. We'd see him for the weekends while he was while he was spending his weeks living in the Twin Cities, working some security gig. Yeah, that's how it worked from the time I was like, what was I, 15, 16 until after I graduated. It was only a couple years after graduation they finally quit that job. I remembered helping him move all the stuff that he had in that efficiency apartment back up north, back to the house that they were living in. That was a fun drive. Anyway, I was getting off track there with talking about pronunciations and saying words wrong, and between the home life and my peers, always mocking me about my stuttering, about my inability to say things with the right enunciations, with the lisping, which yeah, I'll still do that from time to time because well, I never got that front tooth fixed. So yeah, I just based on that, I look around and I think that maybe being mute, not being able to talk, would be a benefit. You just when you have to sit, you have to just observe, and if someone wants your input on something, they're gonna have to earn it. And you can't just interject because no one's gonna pay attention otherwise. I guess that's another thing that I look at. And, my relationships were a lot of disasters, a lot of dumpster fires over the years, and a constant was, my input would always be, would always be brushed aside, would always be ignored, would always be refuted. Anytime I would have a point, to help someone's issues, it always, be met with either silence or to be, yeah, but no, that's not gonna work. That wouldn't work. That couldn't possibly work. You know, especially that last relationship that I had with my ex-wife. It was just anytime that she came to me with a problem, if I offered a perspective that could be seen as a solution or a starting point to work out an answer to the issue, the problem, she would always refute me with, that won't work because flimsy reason. So eventually I just gave up, and I still get a lot of that today. So I think having Tamara as an extension of myself in my story is going to be a good outlet for my frustrations. I don't really know why I decided to go on such a tangent uh, as far as speaking or not speaking, or just wanting to be, just wanting to be that silent person again. Sorry. Largely because I hate my voice, and largely because I was never taken seriously to begin with. Oh, okay, that was a nasty flavor combination. That was ramen noodles and cheese crackers and applesauce, all mixed together in that little bubble. Not recommended. However, I am getting tired. I have my progesterone, so I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed now, and I will at some point talk to you again. I got less than half a year. We'll make it count. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.